Scouse Paul. In late April of 2004, when the red half of Liverpool was descending on Stamford Bridge for the first leg of the Champions League semi-final, the Liverpool ticket office found itself short of tickets. Having tried the usual official channels, they came up empty. By this time, the trains were southbound. A phone call was placed from Anfield to one of the fans on one of those trains, asking him if he had a line on any tickets. Strange that, the club calling a fan for help. But Bobby Wilcox was not just any fan. Bobby Wilcox had been at the centre of things on the terraces at Liverpool Football Club, and many of the songs and chants were composed by Bobby himself, many of the buses to away games arranged by him. Eagle-eared listeners will remember Scouse Paul mentioning him on his travels many, many times. Bobby Wilcox died on January 14th this year.
I was lucky enough to know Bobby over many, many years and to travel with him to games by train in years gone by in particular, and more recent years, certainly over the last decade, on the ubiquitous Formby coaches that Bobby ran from Scotland Road, never knowingly underdrunk, as somebody said a few weeks ago. A couple of weeks after Bobby died, on Friday the 23rd of January, was his funeral. And there'd been a bit of consternation between his close friends and his family because they wanted it in a small church, and it became obvious that perhaps the family just didn't realise, all they knew he was a popular man, just how popular. The fact that the church had to be ticketed for the funeral, I don't think that happens very often, and still there was probably 3-4 times as many people outside, followed by unbelievable scenes down at Anfield as the cortege made its way on a lap of the stadium before going to Anfield Crematorium. The streets were lined with people applauding it, the cortege on the way to the crematorium. That was followed by an unbelievable evening at the Dockers Club in Liverpool, where again the place was rammed all night, and the tales were told throughout the night, and we finished up with a good old sing-song and karaoke to the great delight, I'm sure, of Bobby looking down on the whole chaos below. As I say, I knew him personally. I've told tales on here before about things he's done, and I just want to really give a measure of the man. He was always not just able to get you on his coach or on somebody else's coach or give you the train ticket, but he'd also go out of his way to get tickets. He'd always call you for everything and say what a nuisance you were, leaving it to the last minute, but he would still always make that effort and go the extra mile and try and sort people out. I think another measure of him was the fact that you'd often bump into him. He'd have somebody from down south, or he'd have someone from Norway, or dare I say, someone from New York with him, because he made everybody welcome. If ever there was an archetypal Scouser who had no problem at all welcoming people into the arms of the broader family, Liverpool Football Club. It was Bobby Wilcox. One of my favourite stories was, as we all do, was his beloved Mary had been having a row with him one day, and she said to him, "For God's sake, when are you ever going to grow up?" And he said to her, "Christ, girl, how big do you want me to be?" Anybody who'd know Bobby would know the cruel wit of that one, because he was a big man in every sense. I think he was something over 20 stone. He'd not enjoyed the greatest of health throughout his life. Indeed, in the mid-90s, he'd had a liver transplant, and the fact that very few people realised in later years, he'd only got to know him, that he'd gone through all that, would be surprised that he had gone through it and never ever complained about it. And again, even though the illness was short at the end, nobody knew really how bad he was when he first went into hospital. Again, a measure of the man. He was also very well known on the amateur football scene, and again, the tribute and the echo from friend and foe alike from the Sunday League was just unbelievable, the amount of tributes that there were to him. A sad day for Liverpool, but a great one for the family, in as much as they could rest in the comfort that Bobby was so well loved by everybody. Walking around Anfield, the Derby match just after the funeral, it was amazing how his name seemed to be on everybody's lips around the place, and long may that continue, for as much as for Bobby and his family's sake, for the spirit of Liverpool Football Club and what it should mean to us all.
Feedback